Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola here for another one of our In the Loop episodes. And, we talk about how we are able to really speak to some amazing guests and that are, deeply ingrained in the community that we live in. Also, very knowledgeable about what they're doing for the community and in the community today. That is happening as well as we have with us today, State Representative from District 42, Fred Hawkins. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How is everybody?
It's great. Like you said earlier, it's starting to warm up a little bit. Kind of reminds me of Florida now.
Yeah, it's actually almost 70 here and sunny in Tallahassee.
That's great. I know my son and I were walking to lunch downtown Kissimmee, and I said, man, we're going to lose these jackets here anytime now. That'll be it for that for a while. So hopefully we'll only get one or two more blasts before the spring is thoroughly here. So we got a few people popping on. If you don't mind, we're going to get right at it and let people know what's going on in Tallahassee. All right with you?
That sounds great.
Here we go. Well, again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola, and we are honored here today in one of our shows. We call this one In the Loop, and appropriate that we call it that. Today, we have an opportunity to speak to the State Representative for District 42, Fred Hawkins. How's it going?
It's going good. Week 4 here in Tallahassee, and we actually go on the floor tomorrow for the first time this session for some votes on some bills and legislation that's made it all the way through the committee process so far.
I've said this before, and certainly to a few friends as well, talking about this show and a few others. I think when we think of when we think government, and I guess if we think politics, the majority of the time we tend to just kind of put that by default in the national, international side. But really, if you come down to it, like I said, I've said this before in other situations, if you really come down to it, state and local government is what affects our everyday life almost immediately. And I think sometimes we're at work and we're trying to get things done day in, day out, and we forget that what you're doing right now, what's happening in Tallahassee right now in the legislative session, really impacts our lives. So again, excited to hear what you've got to say, what's going on up there. So I'll turn it over to you, man.
Well, thank you. And Keith, I think we all realized that more than ever, during this pandemic, how local rules put into place and then the state stepping in at times to change that really affected all of our lives. But I think we're coming out of all that, hopefully, and we will continue to move forward in a positive direction in the free state of Florida and keep the state open. Me personally, I've got some big bills I'm carrying. One for the governor that's made it all the way through. I'm hoping that will be heard in the House either this week or next week. It's a charter school bill that was a priority of his. So we're going to make sure that's gone through. It is got unanimous support from both sides of the aisle all the way through committees. And then we're tagged for leadership to run the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas school safety bill, which is a very, very a lot of broad aspects happening to it with mental health and reunification processes, and really refines everything those families had to go through and make sure that our schools are safe and put some things in place to make sure our superintendents adhere to the rules. And I'm happy to carry that. It's had its first committee stop, and I wasn't sure I really could carry that bill. I've had to meet with the families and the people that were involved in that tragedy. We're coming up on 4 years this Valentine's Day for what happened down there at the school. But talking to the families and everything and getting to know their students or their loved ones that were tragically murdered has really given me an understanding, just not only the importance of the bill, but maybe a connection with them. So really honored to carry that bill for leadership, and looking forward to it getting through its rest of its committee stops. We've got a couple of bills that we're running for dealing with elderly abuse, liquidated damages for solid waste haulers. We had a computer science bill. I'm not sure that's going to move this year, but our appropriations, really everything from boat docks to Boys and Girls Club to roads, to support for nonprofits and different agencies throughout Osceola and Polk, including Orange County. We're running a $5 million appropriations for Valencia College for the Lake Nona campus. So a lot going on. It's a lot to keep track of. I got a fantastic staff, and we do a newsletter every week. If people want to sign up, they can email me. That I believe you'll have that up later, and we can get you signed up, and you get those weekly updates of everything that I'm doing and what's happening with other legislations going through that's important to everybody.
Now I'm going to try to pick out one of those that you shared real quick. So obviously last Friday, to us, last Friday was the Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida with Gary Kane being there as well, and the discussion being that St. Cloud is working to get a Boys and Girls Club right in city of St. Cloud, and so they spoke. Obviously, your name came up during that meeting. So, so what are you working on the behalf of the Boys and Girls Club right now?
My history of the Boys and Girls Club goes way back to the late 90s. When we wanted to build a new facility over in Kissimmee, the Tupperware facility. And then I was working for the landfill company, and I got them to make a 5-year commitment that each year they would put $20,000 a year into that facility. For Boys and Girls Club, it's not so much the location. We have that. We can get the buildings and the property, believe it or not, even in this crazy real estate market that we're dealing in now. It's operating funds. Boys and Girls Club requires 3 years of operational funds, which is about $200,000 a year. So sitting down with Ray Lynn and Robert Bass, we came up with an idea, and I put in appropriations in at the state for half of that money. And so far, we've made it through all the process. Hopefully, we'll stay in the House budget, and the governor will approve it when he gets the budget delivered to him.
It is a huge process, and I've been in the St. Cloud area for, I think it's 35 years now. Obviously, I moved here when I was 4. Wouldn't that be nice? And obviously, everybody that lives in District 5 in the county realizes that it is a rapidly growing, rapidly changing and evolving portion or part of the county. And so it seems very fitting that there would be a Boys and Girls Club coming into the area. And, looking at, I wasn't personally there, but my staff was there. My wife was there. The leadership that was present for that meeting, you'd think there'd be no doubt this is going to be a successful run, and we'll see another successful Boys and Girls Club in the county and right in St. Cloud, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would. And, for a growing community and the track record the Boys and Girls Club has just in the Tupperware facility, no juvenile arrests, no teen pregnancy. You heard a story about a young girl that, dad went to jail, mom died tragically, and all she had was Boys and Girls Club. And the mentors she met there and the friendship she's developed, actually, she admits in the video, she's like, it kept me from contemplating suicide, which is horrible. So if we can save one life, making a difference. But what this will do to St. Cloud and for after school programs, parents are busy right now, working jobs. Sometimes they don't get home till late. To know that there is a secure, safe place for your kids to go, and we can have one in St. Cloud where they can, be with other students and help with their grades, their classwork, or play games and just learn how to connect. But, the one thing I got out of that is they also learn how to lose when they play games. It teaches you how to handle defeat or handle rejection and things like that. So we know it's not always the best stories that kids end up in Boys and Girls Club, but I think coming on the other side, it becomes the best story and how they change their life and stays with them forever.
You mentioned the word free and Florida in the same breath earlier. And so is that something that is resonating during this session, that we are seemingly different, this state of Florida, is a different scenario than in many states in the United States right now. Is it something that's resonating through the session that you feel like you're going to keep that going as we move forward through this session into this later portion of the year? Is that something that's being discussed on how we handle ourselves as a state?
Yeah, our goal is we want, of course, parents to make decisions for their students. We want to have the most school choice available. We did that in last session. We want to build upon that. I can't remember in recent history having a Speaker of the House, the Senate President, and a governor that's so focused on education. And that's the silo they have me in. I serve on more education committees than any other member of the Florida House right now, and been told that's pretty much where I'll stay, which I enjoy with my private sector job and getting to work with, I think, the greatest superintendent in the state and Dr. Pace. But under the leadership of the greatest governor in the nation. The man is just incredible. People can say what they want about him and his decision making, but he's proven it's right. He has Florida where we're at today, and not only from an economic standpoint. I mean, we are $4 billion to the good in revenue estimating. So we have money to spend, but we have to be conservative with that money too. We cannot do things that will have reoccurring funds associated with it. So now's the time to put money into the infrastructure and one-time projects that can, make a positive difference, not only in Osceola and Polk, but the whole entire state.
Yeah, there are a lot of different opinions on how throughout the United States, how the pandemic should have been handled this way, should be handled that way. And at some point, a lot of uncertainty. We're still not 100% sure where everything is going to land, but no one's going to say that Governor DeSantis has not been assertive. He certainly has been that. And when you mentioned Dr. Deborah Pace, basically our superintendent, I thought that the county, the school district has done a great job in leading throughout Central Florida. Personally, I thought they chose not to sit back and wait for other counties to move. They made decisions. And that can put yourself out there a couple times when you move that way, but that is what leaders do.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Keith. Dr. Pace was so right to tell parents your kids are coming back to school. Studies have shown nationwide how in these states that are still shut down, the mental health and the physical health and just how they interact with their friends, how that's negatively affected these kids. You're not going to see that in Florida. We're making sure that we're open, that our kids are in school, they're socializing, they've got their extracurricular activities. But the choices again is their parents. But we want to make sure that whatever we can do for normalcy when it comes to education, those opportunities are there for everyone.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that my son would have stayed online. He's doing the direct connect to UCF, and I think he would have been just fine staying online for another year until mom let him know that she was going to expect him to be over in a campus here this year. So
it was the right move. If we can just get more people going back to work now, so the businesses aren't negatively effective. We're definitely going to keep Florida open. We rely on sales tax dollars, gas tax dollars, the bed tax, those things to keep Florida going because we don't have a state income tax. But the revenue estimating just from the holidays, the amount of people that traveled to Florida because they knew we were open, the amount of people that are saying we're coming here for the winter to get out of those states that are closed. I think a lot of those people are coming down here and, hopefully they not only spend their money, but if they're going to invest here in property and that, they're going to pay some really high rates. I'm not so sure if my realtor friends would want to hear this, but I probably wouldn't be buying residential right now. It's pretty high priced, but commercial is always a good investment.
Understood. So let me ask you, so being involved in the education area legislatively, so that's a big chunk of most states' budgets when you look throughout the United States. So you're still considered a freshman, correct?
Yeah, your first two sessions. This is actually my fourth session if you count the two special sessions we had, right. But the regular sessions, this is my second. So yeah, you're a freshman, but have met with the speaker that's going to be next year, Paul Renner, amazing guy. I sat down with him last week and talked about where he'd like to see me go and my ideas and different types of legislation and making sure that we gel on ideas. And of course I do. Paul's a great guy.
Well, it's a good thing. Congratulations being involved with education. Then that's a big deal for sure. So let me ask you this: you had a number of years for sure as an Osceola County Commissioner, District 5, and now of course state representative in District 42. How was that transition? How did that transition work for you? I'm sure you had to barrel down on a lot of homework, but how did that feel as far as your transition to that position?
Yeah. So going from one of 5 to one of 120, and then my party is 78 of 120, so we are the majority. They do a lot of training with you. No matter if you're a Republican or Democrat, you go through what's called legislative university. They tell you how to write your bills, how to work with lobbyists, how to get somebody in the Senate to be your co-sponsor on a bill. I mean, they go through everything. And then our party does separate meetings. We do dinners and what we call lunch and learns to really get you up to speed on the inside track. It is a brotherhood. No disrespect to the women that are in the House. We're all one group and one unit. But it is different because we're allowed to talk to each other. We don't really have those sunshine laws. I can go up to somebody on a bill and say, "Are you okay with my bill? Let's talk about it." Where the county commissioner, you cannot do those things. You can't even have somebody be a conduit for you. My time in the county, it was an honor. I'm very, very blessed to have served 12 years there. Felt like we accomplished some really great things. I'm so proud to see what Neo City is doing now with Skywater there and the possible Korean investment coming in. And that's only going to continue to grow. People are going to be hearing about Ford Motor Company that I helped with a gentleman named Scott Shaw bring in to work with Neo City, and they want to invest. And they were talking after they saw Neo City, they're like, why can't we do the computer chips here for our automobiles? So the governor's jumping all over that. And of course, he loves Neo City and Skywater when he met with them. But just a lot of accomplishments there. But I have a lot I want to accomplish here in the House. This year is a little different with redistricting. We will be voting on the House maps and the congressional maps this week. I will no longer be District 42. It'll be District 35. District does look a little bit different, but we're looking forward to it.
And so it looks to be that there will be an additional representative, correct, in our area, pretty much.
Rep. Josie Tomko had a little bit of celebration, but the majority of Polk, she'll no longer have Osceola. Representative Arrington will continue. Her area moved a little bit, but right in the heart of Osceola, that'll be a new House seat, and that's based on population.
Sure.
I've had a lot of people contact me. They want to talk about the party thing and why aren't you getting more Republicans? And we can't do that. One, we have to follow federal guidelines. We have to follow the state constitution. And then 10 years ago, what the Supreme Court put in, we have tiers that we have to use. And tier 1, tier 2, tier 1, you have to try to keep cities whole. You have to try to keep counties whole where you can. Right. And then you got to use, natural boundaries such as county lines, city limits, roads, waterways, highways, all that to try to draw these districts. It's really a tough job. It was very interesting. I didn't say much. I was more of a sponge and just took everything in during the process. But we voted a week ago Friday in the subcommittee, and it went to the big committee last week, and now it'll be on the House floor this week.
And surely no differences of opinions when it comes to mapping.
No. My district's a little different, definitely moving forward. But, like I said, you got to work hard. You got to raise money. It's the same thing. You got to know how to do it and know what you're doing, get your message out.
Gotcha. So before we close, why don't you covered a lot of ground today. And so why don't you go back or even just give us maybe those 2 or 3 top things that you're the most passionate about in this session, and that you're really going to be working and focusing on for the community that you're representing. What are those 2 or 3 things that are the most emphasized in your heart this time?
Well, I would say separate from my bills, my appropriations. I felt we really put some good appropriations in that'll make a difference and have a great impact for both Osceola and Polk County. We only have one right now that hasn't really made it through the process, but we're doing everything from our veterans with the transition house, like I said, boat docks and park improvements and roads and you name it. We're the nonprofits. We're really out there with a lot of different aspects, but we're keeping track of that. But bill wise, the school safety bills can be very important. We haven't had anything pass in 2 years, and it's a big load on my shoulders to carry, but I have the focus, and just meeting with those families is driving me to make sure we get it through this year. Our charter school bill and making sure parents have a choice is huge to me. But I would say literacy, so important that I served on the closing the achievement gap this year between boys and girls. There's a huge difference there. So we're going to be putting some things in that will help our school districts get our boys back up to speed. And then for me personally, my EKG bill, making sure that every student that goes out for sports in the state gets an EKG. 1 in 300 students has a heart condition they don't know about. We lose one student every hour of every day to an unknown heart condition they had, and we can solve this. The EKGs are 96% effective, and we just need to make sure that these kids that take that physical and have played sports ever since they were single digits up into high school, and then something happens if they had just had EKGs. And Orange County is a great example. They were the 9th school district to come on out of the state to make their athletes have these. Since September, 22 kids have been saved. Some it's just medicine, some it's an outpatient surgery. Rarely is a student ever told that they can't play sports due to a heart condition. So, that's important to me. Last year we did the CPR bill, this year the EKG portion of it. So I'll keep advocating and fighting for that until we get that through.
Yeah, I like that bill too. That's a great thing. And so I hope that you'll find the support you need in that particular bill for sure. I'd like to, before we close here, I want to encourage somebody who might be listening now or watching now, and those who will see it later, that you can't do your job and what you're trying to do up there if we're not communicating with you. So right now we've got your email and your phone number as well, your cell number. And, so my encouragement to whoever is listening and watching this today is to get a hold of the representative. That's about the title, the word representative. It's for a reason, and we can't do if we're not doing our job, it's going to make it more difficult for you to do yours. So I hope that we'll certainly follow through with that and contact you. Even if so, I know you, so I know that if somebody has a difference of an opinion, you still want to hear what they're saying.
Absolutely.
I hope you do that.
I tell people all the time, don't wait till after we voted on something. I say this all the time when I was on the county commission, but don't wait. Don't think we already know information. And like traffic accidents at our intersections that we're working on getting traffic signalization. It's okay to reach out to me and say, hey, there's another wreck there, because I take that information, or I forward your email or your text onto DOT just so they know, hey, people are watching. And I can tell you the east side of the county is more involved, I think, than in all levels of government than anywhere else in the county. No disrespect to the other side, but I just think there's a focus over there where people really are in tune to what's going on. And like I said, email us, get on our list. I have many people that respond on Fridays when the newsletter goes out, asking questions about some of that information. And it's not all about what I'm working on. It's about what all the legislation's on and where the big bills are in the process. And there are some major bills coming that really will have an impact on everyone's lives.
Super. Well, I hope that you will have time to come back with us next week. Same time work for you?
Same time works well.
Super. All right. Well, we'll look forward to more of that next week. I know you're going to have a busy week and there'll be lots to share. So again, I know you're busy, Fred, so we appreciate you coming on today, man.
All right. Thanks for having me, my friend. Good to see you.
And again, reach out to the representative. It makes everything work as designed when we speak to our representatives, and they can do what they're supposed to do up there for us. Again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola, along with State Representative Fred Hawkins, District 42, together making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Thanks, Fred.
Thank you, Keith.